Have you ever made goals for your Disney trip that are a little overambitious? How about setting goals that are nearly impossible to accomplish? You may have your Disney bucket list, but can you really do all the things that are on that list? Hey everybody, it's AJ for Disney Food Blog. Today I'm not talking about staying in the parks from open to close ambitious or visiting all 4 Disney World parks in one day ambitious. I know you guys can do that, I believe in you. I'm talking about things that are actually borderline impossible unless you had all the money in the world or spent all day every day in Disney World. Now, I don't want to discredit anyone's ability to get these things done, but I would be seriously impressed if you did, and I want you to let me know about it. You probably can't do the things in this video, but you can sure have fun trying. All right, the first thing we would love to do, but we can't. You can't stay in every single hotel room on property. There are over 25 hotels to stay at on Disney World property, and you probably haven't even heard of all of them. There are also a handful of resorts like the Good Neighbor hotels in the Disney Springs resort area, and those are technically on Disney property but aren't actually owned by Disney. Between all of the many, many hotels, there are more than 36,000 hotel rooms. That's a lot of hotel rooms. And to stay in every single one of them, you got a huge task in front of you. For starters, one of the reasons why you probably can't do this is because some Disney hotels are only available for certain people, like Shades of Green. Shades of Green is an armed forces recreation center resort on Disney property, and only members of the U.S. Armed Forces, their families, and other authorized guests are eligible to stay there. So unless you fit one of those requirements, you're already off to a rocky start. Among the thousands of rooms on Disney property, naturally you'll find standard guest rooms, suites, and villas, the usual, but there are actually some rooms that are pretty difficult to book. At some of the Disney resorts, like Disney's Contemporary Resort, Beach Club, and more, you'll find vice presidential and presidential suites. These massive suites will offer some killer views, luxurious amenities, and plenty of space. We're talking 3+ bedrooms in these suites, but they can be difficult to book, so you might run into trouble being able to snag a stay at one of them, let alone every single one. You can't book these online. You'll need to call in to inquire. Most of the rooms aren't even officially listed on the Disney World website. You have to first know they exist and then call to book, and they'll inevitably cost you. You can expect to pay a couple $1,000 per night at one of these presidential suites, which brings me to my next point. Staying at every hotel room in Disney World would be a seriously pricey accomplishment. One night at one of Disney's deluxe resorts, the highest tier of Disney hotels, can easily cost upwards of $500. And when you're getting into staying at some of Disney's villas, prepare to empty your pockets. A stay at the Bora Bora bungalows, those over-the-water rooms at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, start at over $2,000 per night and can go up to $5,000 or higher per night during the holiday season. So if you want to stay at every hotel room in Disney World, it's time to start saving. Okay, the next thing you can't do in Disney, but you can sure have fun trying because we do every day, you can't eat everywhere. There are more than 200 table service and counter service dining locations in Disney World. So even if you limit your quest to eating at just the table service restaurants, you'd still find yourself with a list of dozens of restaurants to conquer. There are around 90 table service restaurants in the parks and resorts. This would be difficult to do, especially now since there are still a handful of locations yet to reopen, like the fan favorite restaurant Ohana at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort and Boma at Disney's Animal Kingdom Lodge. Plus, a lot of dining spots around Disney World are only open seasonally during times when the parks are particularly busy. For example, Aunt Polly's, which is a quick service restaurant over on Tom Sawyer Island in Magic Kingdom, is only open when the park is crowded, so it can be hard to anticipate when you'll be able to grab something to eat from here. Others open sporadically or with limited hours, so you won't really know in advance whether or not a spot will be open during your trip. During your trip, you may be tempted to make multiple reservations for full sit-down meals each day in order to try more restaurants, but keep in mind that it will eat up a lot of your park time and your stomach space. You'll want to plan at least an hour for each sit-down meal, and you'll want to factor in the time it takes you to get to the restaurant. If you plan for breakfast, lunch, and dinner at a table service restaurant, that could easily account for at least 6 hours of your day when you could be in the parks riding rides instead. Plan out which restaurants you really want to try, opt for only 1 table service meal per day, maybe 2, and then maximize your park time. Those park tickets are pricey and you don't want to waste them. So yeah, we here at Disney Food Blog, we've eaten almost everywhere, but it is absolutely a full-time job for many of us. All right, this next one that you can't do in Disney, but you can have fun trying. I think you're going to disagree with me about this one at first, but hear me out. You can't try every single flavor of Dole Whip. Now, this is an especially disappointing one in my book. Long gone are the days at Disney World when pineapple was the be-all end-all flavor when it comes to Dole Whip, which is a soft-serve treat that's basically reached iconic status in Disney World and Disneyland. Over the years, we've seen tons of new flavors introduced, like coconut in the beloved Kakamora float from Aloha Isle. Also, there's lime, raspberry, watermelon, and even a new and exclusive mango limeade Dole Whip at the Flower and Garden Festival in EPCOT. Although we know these flavors exist, they can be kind of hard to consistently find because they do change up the menus all over the place. Some of the new flavors have popped up for specialty cones or floats, and then they just disappear. The first time we ever saw that watermelon Dole Whip was only a few months ago at Marketplace Snacks in Disney Springs. We'd been waiting so long to try that flavor, but it was kind of a disappointment when we finally got it. It was a little artificial tasting. If you're on a true mission to try every flavor of Dole Whip that exists, you can test your luck at finding the mixes on Amazon. I've seen pineapple mix available in the past, so maybe they've widened their flavor options, and I've seen orange on there as well. And always follow along with us here at DFB. If there's a new Dole Whip flavor, we're going to be there ASAP to try it and let you know how it is. All right, next impossible challenge, you can't ride every ride in one day. All right, there are 49 rides in Disney World. Now keep in mind that total doesn't include shows like the Enchanted Tiki Room and Country Bear Jamboree, which a lot of people like to include in their ride every ride challenges. So if you're feeling especially ambitious and really want to do every single attraction, including shows, that number's going to get even higher. Many people have tried to complete this challenge before, but few have succeeded. This was nearly impossible before, and now that park hopping is different, remember you can't park hop until 2 p.m., this seriously limits your chances of being able to ride every ride in Disney World in one day. You need to start your day in Hollywood Studios right now because that's the only way you're going to get in the virtual queue for Rise of the Resistance. And if you've watched the channel before, you know that just having a park pass and knowing all the tips to get in that queue are not always enough to guarantee you'll get to ride. Even if you get on Rise of the Resistance before 2 p.m., there are likely some hiccups that will wreck your plans for hitting all those rides in one day. I know, we sound so Debbie Downer about this one, right? I'm so sorry. Plus, you're likely to encounter some closures along the way. We got lots closed for refurbishment right now, like the People Mover, that's been closed for a year. And there may be some rides that are closed for inclement weather or for more significant updates. So if there's one thing you can count on in Florida, it's a daily thunderstorm, and that's going to mess up some of your plans. So with all those obstacles in place, yeah, you're probably not going to be able to ride every single ride in one day. Oh yeah, and come October 1st, you'll have to add Remy's Ratatouille Adventure to your list, which will likely be pretty tough to get on as everyone's going to ride the hot new ride. But I know some of you have attempted this, and I want to hear how it went. Let me know in the comments, how many rides have you been able to ride in one day? I want to be impressed with you. Okay, next thing you can't do in Disney, but you can have fun trying, you can't meet every single character. Right now, it might be easier to check a bunch off your list pretty quickly because so many characters come out during the park's daily cavalcades, but it's still going to be tricky to see them all. Although they aren't happening right now, your best bet to see some rare characters is during Magic Kingdom's ticketed events like Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. There, you're going to find characters you can't meet on a regular park day, like Judy Hopps from Zootopia, Jafar from Aladdin, and all 7 Dwarfs, as well as Moana. She's usually been there the past few years. Now, another good way to see a bunch of uncommon characters is through character meals. Seeing as many characters as possible in one specific location is going to cut down on the time you spend waiting in line otherwise. When these restaurants are open and character dining is available, you can meet Lilo during breakfast at Ohana at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, encounter the Evil Queen at Storybook Dining at Artist Point and Disney's Wilderness Lodge, and even some of the Disney princes like Eric and Flynn Rider at the Bon Voyage Adventure Breakfast at Tartaria Al Forno at the Boardwalk. Also right now, over at Hollywood and Vine, you can meet all those Disney Junior characters in the morning. Those are real rare characters. You're not going to find those guys anywhere else. Now, this challenge is still going to be kind of tricky. Only so many can be found at a certain event or certain location, so you're not going to be able to see everybody. Our friends at allears.net have a handy character guide to help you find your favorite characters in the park once those meet and greets are back. All right, you can't do this in Disney, but you can have fun trying. Try everything at an EPCOT festival. EPCOT's festivals can boast a serious number of food booths that serve up specialty eats and drinks that are themed for that specific festival. The International Food and Wine Festival has the most food booths to offer. Last year's festival featured more than 20 food booths, plus a bunch of additional locations, serving up special festival eats like the Joffrey's coffee carts and the funnel cake stand at the American Adventure Pavilion. We've seen over 30 booths in the past. That's a lot of food. I can very, very vividly remember when I first started Disney Food Blog doing the EPCOT Food and Wine Festival festival all by myself, and it was very, very important for me to buy everything at every booth to show you guys everything you could get. And oh my goodness, I wanted to get it all done on the same day, which I did. I accomplished it, but I pretty much passed out for a couple of days afterwards. It was a lot of work. Plus, it's always super hot in Florida when the festival first starts, when the Food and Wine Festival first starts. So I was wiped out when I was doing all that by myself. Now, these days, we have a full team here at DFB, and so we are able to cover the festival as a team, which is much, much easier than it was when I was doing it all by myself. But still, that's a lot of effort, a lot of eating, a lot of money that goes into eating everything at the festival on the first day, which is what we do every single festival. And while I do know some folks who have been able to eat everything at the festival over the course of a few days, there's not too many people that are going to do it all in one day. Now, right now, the Flower and Garden Festival is going on, and there are 66 different festival dishes on the menu, and that's not including drinks. Plus, later on in the festival, we'll see even more food introduced at the EPCOT Farmers Feast booth, which has a rotating menu. So even if you visited the festival early, you'll need to go back again to truly try it all. That's why we put together our Best of the Fest for each EPCOT festival to help you narrow down your list and decide which of the top eats you've got to try. But hey, if you want to try everything, go for it, you guys, and maybe bring a friend to split some of the dishes so you can fit all of it in. If you want even more in-depth info about the food, entertainment, and extras at the festivals, you can grab our festival guidebooks. We have a Flower and Garden Festival guide and a Food and Wine Festival guide. We also have a Holidays guide, which includes the Festival of the Holidays in EPCOT. You can head over to dfbstore.com to pick up your own copies, and that'll give you absolutely all the information you need to know about all of those EPCOT festivals. Use code YouTube to receive a discount on this guide or any of our other snack guides and bundles. All right, the next thing you can't do in Disney, but you can have fun trying, ride Rise the Resistance every single day. Rise of the Resistance in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is undeniably one of the most popular rides in all of Disney World right now. Yes, it is probably the most popular ride in all of Disney World. We've done an entire video on the incredible ride, shared our tips about how to get one of the highly coveted and difficult to get boarding groups. If you want a quick, easy to access list of those tips, head to disneyfoodblog.com/rise tips and we'll get it right to your inbox. It's just really hard to ride it every day. A lot of people try for multiple days and don't even get in the queue once. Now, if you even want to ride this ride once during your trip, book yourself 2 park day passes at Hollywood Studios so you have 2 chances to get in that boarding group. In the case that you miss out on those boarding groups one day, you'll still have a second opportunity to ride. Remember, the second round of boarding groups becomes available at 1 p.m. and park hopping doesn't begin until 2, so if you're park hopping over to Hollywood Studios, you won't be getting on the ride. You gotta start your day in DHS in order to get on Rise of the Resistance. All right, next thing you can't do in Disney, but you can have fun trying, is eat every single cupcake. We're always on the lookout for new cupcakes, and Disney definitely keeps them coming. They are always introducing new cupcakes for various holidays, movie releases, and more. I mean, it's super easy. They're single serve, they're super cheap and easy to make, and they can charge a lot of money for them. Plus, they're very Instagrammable, which means everybody wants to buy them. So really, from a business perspective, cupcakes make a lot of sense for Disney. Now, our team has tried pretty much all of them, but it takes a whole team. No one on that team has had every single cupcake in Disney World. Although there are some pretty unique cupcakes throughout Disney World, like the cotton candy cupcake we tried in Magic Kingdom, or the amaretto and cherry cupcake we found in Animal Kingdom during the New Year celebration, you'll definitely find yourself eating a lot of boring vanilla cupcakes stacked with overly sweet, sugary, almost crunchy frosting if you try to eat every single one. So unless you're on a strict cupcake patrol and eating them every single day, you probably won't be able to or even want to eat every single cupcake. They're not all great. So since there are so many options, and I'm sure you don't want to spend $6 per cupcake, that's okay. Head to disneyfoodblog.com, see our reviews, we eat them all, and this way you know which ones are worth dropping your cash on. We review them, we're honest. If it's not worth your money, we'll let you know. We'll also let you know who's gonna like it, because every Disney World snack isn't for everyone. All right, next thing you can't do in Disney, but you can have fun trying, find every single hidden Mickey. There are innumerable hidden Mickeys found throughout Disney World, including some you can only see from the sky. Now, if you're not sure what a hidden Mickey is, these are images of Mickey Mouse Sometimes just 3 circles, sometimes his whole face, sometimes his whole body, that Imagineers have hidden around the parks and resorts. Now, to be able to find every single hidden Mickey, you'd have to accomplish some of the other things on this list that we've already covered. Hidden Mickeys can be found throughout Disney's hotel rooms, so to be able to say you officially found every single one, you'd probably have to stay in every hotel too. They also decorate Disney's restaurants, so get ready to eat at every Disney World restaurant too to find every hidden Mickey. There are hidden Mickey books out there that can act as your guide, but it's going to take quite some time to find every last one. I know Steve Barrett, the hidden Mickey guy, this is a full-time job for him to find every single hidden Mickey in every park around the world and the cruise ships and everywhere else. Plus, your job will probably never be finished as Disney World continues to introduce new rides, resorts, restaurants, experiences, and they all have hidden Mickeys. Cast members also create temporary hidden Mickeys. At Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, you can often find hidden Mickeys on the ground made out of pine cones that cast members make on their rounds. And at Animal Kingdom, you can sometimes spot hidden Mickeys and Minnies on the ground made from flower petals that cast members are sweeping up. So some of these hidden Mickeys just come and go, and you'll never know where they all are at any given time. So if this is a goal of yours, you should definitely start searching sooner rather than later. It is so much fun to find hidden Mickeys, and this is especially a great thing to do with your family and your kids while you guys are exploring Walt Disney World. It's totally free to go and find hidden Mickeys. All right, this is something I wish I could do in Disney World, but I definitely don't think I'll ever be able to accomplish it, and that's to meet every cast member. Thousands of cast members work at Walt Disney World, and between full-time, part-time, and seasonal employees that work within all different areas, including attractions, dining, guest relations, custodial, photo pass, entertainment, so much more. There's no way you can meet every single one of them, sadly. There are also lots of cast members that work behind the scenes, like the veterinarians that work in Disney's Animal Kingdom, Disney's wedding planners, and cast members who work overnight when the parks are closed. No matter how many times you visit Disney World, you won't be able to meet every single person, but they are all working hard to make sure you have a great vacation, so be sure to be kind and say hello and give them props for all their hard work. All right, next thing you can't do in Disney, but you can have fun trying, is watch every nighttime show all at once. Now, this one might seem especially obvious, but there are actually a couple of spots across Disney World where you can see multiple shows at once. That is, of course, when they are up and running. This definitely depends on show times, but if your trip is during a time when the nighttime shows are taking place at the same time, like 9 o'clock, you might be able to see at least 2 and maybe even 3 shows at once. Over at Disney's Boardwalk, you can have a pretty decent view of EPCOT's fireworks. On the bridge that connects the boardwalk to the Swan and Dolphin Resort, you might even be able to see the fireworks from Magic Kingdom and Hollywood Studios at the same time. This bridge is slightly elevated, which allows that vantage point. Another option for viewing multiple shows is Topolino's Terrace at Disney's Riviera Resort. This rooftop restaurant has really panoramic views of Disney World, far and wide, so you may be able to catch a glimpse of all the action from up there. There's also a spot in Pop Century. I can't remember which building it is, but if you go up to the top floor of that Pop Century building, you can actually see the Magic Kingdom fireworks and the Epcot fireworks going off at the same time. So are you up to the challenge? Each of these ideas may be practically impossible, but that doesn't mean you can't try, and I bet you're gonna have a blast while doing it. Believe me, I'm all for trying every flavor of Dole Whip in Disney World in the name of a challenge. So have you tried to do any of these things? What's on your Disney World bucket list? Let us know in the comments. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for watching. This has been a really fun video to put together. We had a blast with this one, and I can't wait to hear how many of you are attempting all of these awesome challenges. As always, this is AJ for Disney Food Vlog, and we'll see you real soon.